12-year-old granted order of protection against Ezra Miller. We've got... No, Emily, I may have misspoke there, like a government official. There will be as many cuts, but the cuts might be in the correct order. Because it seemed to me on the day that I was watching that there were cuts that shot to different parts of the interview. And it seemed not within the right chronology of the questioning. I could be wrong on that, but that's how it felt to me. As a seasoned and experienced interview, there were some issues with the flow of how that interview played out on the segment I watched, which was the second segment or the first longer segment. So that's what I mean more about that. But yeah, I'm sure there will be tons cut from the interview, but I think that it might be in a more acceptable chronology. Okay, so here we go. The Daily Beast spoke with the alleged victim, a 12-year-old non-binary child, their mother, and their neighbor, who all described the night the flash star allegedly menaced them. This is Ezra Miller. I don't know what this sign is, but I can only assume that it's demonic, and holy water and a cross would put this thing to rest really fucking quickly. So here we go. On Wednesday, a mother and her 12-year-old child traveled to their local courthouse in Greenfield, Massachusetts, were granted a temporary harassment prevention order against Ezra Miller after alleging that the actor menaced their family one evening in their downstairs neighbor's home and acted inappropriately toward the non-binary youngster. Now, a lot of people will have a lot to say about this. Let me just get rid of a bunch of people in chat right now. Let me just do it flat out. You will never convince me on earth that a 12-year-old is non-binary or that they even understand what that means. And if that pisses you off, this is not the place for you. But if it pisses you off and you're willing to stay, I raise my glass. But you will not convince me that that's a thing that's real. I think that is something that develops a little bit differently. But that's me. That's me. The news comes on the heels of a number of other disturbing allegations that have surfaced against the 29-year-old, best known for their turn as the Flash in Justice League. Now, why is Ezra Miller in the downstairs of this person's house with a 12-year-old in general? Why? This is what I always want to know about these stories. Why is the celebrity in the house of this person with their child? I need to figure this out because I don't get it. Like, are they friends? Did he just show up there? Was he choke slamming people and went through the upper floor and landed in the basement? I don't know. It was one of the more interesting things about the Michael Jackson documentary, which Finding Neverland, Leaving Neverland, I think it was, whatever it was. You know, the one, which I think was a complete hit piece, by the way, on Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson, certainly a weirdo. The allegations against him, lots of problems with them, lots of problems with motivations for the allegers, lots of problems with consistency and credibility of the allegers, all of that stuff. We're not here to talk about that. What was interesting about that was hearing about Michael Jackson, like, befriending this family and being invited over all the time, like, to just hang out and, like, play soccer and weird stuff. Like, this is Michael effing Jackson just coming over to your house and hanging out. Like, that was strange. It was a weird thing to hear. I mean, I believe it happened, but it was weird. And so you want to know why, but we got some explanations. He became this family friend. He was invited over all the time. And it was like, Michael was almost like an adopted kid of this lady for whatever reason. I'm sure she was like, holy shit, Michael Jackson's coming over to my house. So I want to know why Ezra Miller's there, because he's no Michael Jackson. Right? Michael Jackson can make an inmate cry just by showing up. Ezra Miller makes an inmate cry because they're like, oh, it's so pretty. I'm just kidding, but I'm not. Last week, the parents of 18-year-old environmental activist Just can somebody can the next hammer that you send me just have an automatic smash my own face in mode? Because I'm dying. Stop it. You're not an activist. You're just 18. Go work. Go to work. Get a damn job. 18-year-old environmental activist Tokata Iron Eyes requested that a court issue a protective order against Ezra Miller, stating in court documents that the actor met Tokata 6 years ago when they were 12 and Miller was 23, and that, quote, Ezra uses violence, intimidation, threats of violence, fear, paranoia, delusions, and drugs to hold sway over young adolescent Tokata. The parents also accused Miller of influencing Tokata's decision to come out as non-binary transgender. Really? No, you don't say. An unverified Instagram account presumed to belong to Tokata denied the claims. But see, that's the whole thing about grooming, right? Like this is the catch-22 of grooming. And this is a catch-22. It's a real dilemma for looking at these things. If someone is effectively groomed, they'll never know. They'll never know they were groomed if it was done effectively. That's the brainwash. That's the whole point of it. So of course you deny. Well, I was a groom. This is my choice. It's mine. I own this. I own the decision to come out as non-binary because I am that way. Well, I mean, you may be, you may not be. It's not up to me to say. I don't give a shit. But at the same time, if they were groomed into being quote unquote non-binary, then of course they would not admit to the grooming. They wouldn't know. That's how it works. Fair and balanced. Oh, she has a chat here. This is interesting. Before I got into news, I was a professional dancer. Oh, hey. Wade Robson, the guy in Leaving Neverland, was my first hip hop teacher. He is the biggest liar and completely made his entire story up about Michael Jackson. Anyone who knows him knows he's tried anything to get famous. It's sick. Yeah, I didn't get good impressions from Wade Robson, but I do have to give him some applause for dating Britney Spears when she was 19 or whatever. Go get it. Go get it, champ. Okay, here we go. The court has been unable to locate Miller to serve the papers, and Miller deleted their Instagram Wednesday afternoon, but not before posting a series of memes mocking the authorities for their inability to find him. I guess he's being the Flash. I guess that's what's going on. Creator Mia Solange took to TikTok in April to accuse Miller of being an abuser, while the actor was arrested twice in Hawaii for disorderly conduct, harassment, and allegedly throwing a chair at a woman. I mean, Ezra Miller has a documented history of abusive acts in public, including throwing the chair, the choke slam. I mean, he's been arrested for this stuff. Seems to avoid prosecution. That's that Hollywood money, Hollywood protection. On top of all that, in 2020, a video went viral of Miller attacking a young female fan in Iceland. The local authorities declined to investigate the incident. They didn't want that bullshit. In the Massachusetts case, the Daily Beast reviewed a copy of the protection order signed by the judge and spoke with the 12-year-old accuser, their mother, and another neighbor who was present. The case docket has not been posted on the court's online system, so the official complaint made by the child's mother was not available. The Daily Beast also reviewed contemporaneous text messages sent by the mother and the neighbor, as well as photographs that corroborated parts of their accounts of the nights in question. We're withholding names for privacy reasons on the evening of February 2nd. Here's the story. Let's get storyteller voice in. Here we go. On the evening of February 2nd, the trio contend that Miller was present at the downstairs neighbor's home in Greenfield, which is located about 40 miles from the actor's ranch in Stamford, Vermont. That neighbor is in a band with Whitney Suiters, a musician who is close friends with Miller. So there we go. We've got some story about the connection. Miller was wearing a bulletproof vest, and I had no idea until later that they were armed, recalls the visiting neighbor. Tensions began brewing when the mother says she mentioned doing some traveling recently with her tribe of people, leading Miller to snap at her and accuse her of cultural appropriation. Wait, what? This starts over that? Then a conversation about board games allegedly went sideways when, after Miller claimed that the board game Parcheesi had Rastafarian roots, the visiting neighbor, who is half black, questioned Miller as to which sect of the Rastafari movement it originated from. Ladies and gentlemen, wokeness. Not even once. Not even once. Someone's like, yeah, I was hanging out with my tribe, you know. That's cultural appropriation. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out of my house. Get out. Let me tell you about the Rastafarian roots of Parcheesi. Get out of my house immediately, you ridiculous degenerate. Get out. Not even once do you allow this shit. At this point, Ezra explodes and started screaming directly into my face, the visiting neighbor tells me. So this is the half black person. They said, stop it. Ugh. You don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. What did you say to me? What did you just say to me? I was very caught off guard, the visiting neighbor continues. Then they opened up their jacket. Just say he. Come on, stop it. Ezra Miller's a fucking guy. Like, Ezra Miller is a male. I mean, Ezra Miller is a male. Say he. Stop. Stop. This is a person who's accusing or who's grooming children. Stop. You don't owe gender pronouns to anybody who's abusing children. They get bio pronouns. Let's see. He opened up his jacket, and he had this like big Sherpa jacket, and he opened up one side of his jacket. You could see a gun, and he said, talking like that could get you into a really serious situation. Boom. Tort. Civil tort. Sue Ezra Miller into the fucking ground on that one. That is a common law assault. You do not get to brandish, show, or otherwise present a gun in conjunction with the hint of a threat. May not make it to a criminal threat, but civil threat against Ezra Miller, yeah, sue him. You don't get to use objection hearsay when it's a party statement against their interest to tick, tick, boom. This would be an absolutely admissible statement. Next, according to the visiting neighbor, the mother and the child, Miller focused their attention on the then 11-year-old, saying, I've talked extensively with your child, and they have a lot of power to them. At one point, you're going to realize that you don't have any control over them anymore. They're an elevated being, and they would be lucky to have someone like me guide them. So,
unacceptable.
Yeah.
And I have a shotgun. Let me prove it.
That's, again, they said Miller proceeded to turn to the mother, who dresses goth, and accused her of being a witch and a vampire, repeatedly yelling at her, do you want to drink my blood? Do you? What the fuck is wrong with this weirdo? Miller then came back to the child and allegedly began pestering them with compliments. At one point, moving their chair closer to them, requesting that they add the actor on Instagram and telling the child to pursue fashion. How is this person still in your house? How is this person still in your house? What? Why is Ezra Miller still there talking to your kid at all? Get out. Suplex. Get out, Ezra Miller. You start talking weird to my kid like that, you show a gun to one of my guests, you're out. You're out. And I saw someone in chat say he had a gun. Oh, me too. Me too. Get out. Next. Here we go. Yeah. At one point, moving their chair closer to them, requesting that they add the actor on Instagram and telling the child to pursue fashion. They automatically were just weirdly drawn to me and kept talking about how he loves my outfit and loves my style and kept going on and on about how it was great. The child remembers it was really uncomfortable. I was really nervous. I was scared to be around him after oh, there it is. The child broke them after he'd yelled at my mother and she was crying. See, the kid knows. The mother and visiting neighbor both believe that Miller may have been under the influence due to his dilated pupils and erratic behavior. Miller apologized for the outbursts, only to return to pester the family on a number of other occasions, including in late April, in May, and on June 4th, dressed as a cowboy. In April, a cow them, please. For fuck's sake, Daily Beast, you hateful monsters. In April, both the mother and child maintained that Miller made the child uncomfortable by hugging them and pressing his body close to them. During the June visit, the child expressed their interest in horses, and Miller said that they would acquire several horses so that the child could help them care for the herd on their his Vermont farm, which also struck them as inappropriate. You think? I will buy you a bunch of horses. Just come hang out on my farm. Give Uncle Ezra a hug. Gross. Ever since the Takata Iron Eyes news broke, however, they haven't seen or heard from Ezra Miller since a representative for Miller could not immediately be reached for comment. Yeah, I'm guessing that the representatives for Ezra Miller are running for the fucking hills, trying to avoid the fact that they have anything to do with them at all. But yeah.
You're up against the wall, and I am the fucking wall.
Get rid of Ezra Miller. Get rid of Ezra Miller.
I hope you die in prison as well.
Fuck off. Nasty pile of garbage, Ezra Miller seems to be. And hopefully the full force of the law will come down upon them. Him, her, whatever it is. I don't even fucking care anymore. Giant pile of shit. Go away. Go away. These people are disgusting. People like Ezra Miller.
Why you think you done it?
Okay, number one, Your Honor. Just look at him.
He talks like a fag, too.
The prosecution rests, Your Honor. The prosecution rests. I think we figured that out. That's true.